What is up, YouTube? JoeWo here. We are back with another tips and tricks video, and this one is going to be the 5 best tips you need to know to become a better player for Warzone Ranked. Nice! Let's go, baby. Real quick, if you guys learned something new today, learned something about Ranked, make sure to be subscribed down below if you like the content. With that being said, let's get straight into it. Now, to start off with tip number 1, I feel like this goes past a lot of people's head. You gotta drop the ego when it comes to Ranked play. Now, having a clear goal and communicating that with your team is super important. When you get up into those higher ranks, the Crimson, the Iridescent, the top 250, if you lose a match, that is gonna set you back a ton of SR. And that obviously is gonna take multiple games to regain. And there's so many times I see teammates and things like that, if they're angry, they stop communicating, which means the team's vibes are down because of a mistake that somebody made or they made. That doesn't help long term, and making sure that you are communicating everything and everybody's on the same page is very important. With how competitive so many of these lobbies are, you guys have to be on the same page with what is going on. What are you guys pushing together? What are you going to be doing? If you guys are fighting somebody, are you communicating, hey guys, I can't fight this yet, I need plates, I need ammo, I'm going to be wrapping to the right, I'm going to try to flank them. Giving your teammates the communication and the knowledge to know what you're doing is going to help long term. If you see another team that's going to be flanking you guys, or another team's trying to third party, you need to communicate and say, hey guys, we shouldn't fight this yet, there's another team, and things like that. When everybody is silent, everybody's mad, nobody gets better, and you don't get better as a team and learn your teammates' tendencies. That's another thing. If you guys play together with other teammates or friends a lot, you need to learn their tendencies and learn how they play. They can also learn how you play and help your teammates long term. When you guys are playing, making sure that nobody has an ego and getting angry at each other, yelling at each other, and just learning as a team will help you guys climb those ranks. All right, so here is a great teaching and coaching moment. Even though one of my teammates dies here, he doesn't lose composure. And I'm going to shout out to my guy Ebates real quick and show you guys how important he is in the end game. Instead of being angry that he died, that he's at the end game, and maybe that we weren't with him, he actually helps us out a lot, and he helps out the team communication. So as you can see here, it is a 2v however many.
There's 2 teams. They're about to fight. They're about to fight backside of gas.
So he's calming. There's 2 teams about to fight backside of gas where he just died. Instead of muting out or being like, where were you guys when we're about to be fighting and stuff, causing bad communication, bad comms, bad energy, he's helping us out to say what's going on.
There's the full team on the bridge.
Full team on the bridge. He saw them as he was fighting. And then saying close heady. I did not see this guy, but that was great comms from him. And he gave me the information that I needed. Bridge.
On your right, Joe. Next guy's on your right.
I like it.
Cracked.
So then he calms where the people he was fighting, obviously Joe on your close right, on the headies, and then he's calling out to my other teammate what's going on. Because I'm trying to obviously listen to footsteps or anything like that, and he is going to be calling out that the person that I was just shooting at is cracked.
The bridge, Deej.
Cracked on the bridge,
Gas station.
dead. So again, he was calling out to my other teammate, DJ Moss, saying he's cracked on the bridge, and he got that trade for me because of that call out, even though he was dead.
Play the bridge. You're insane,
I got pull. I just don't have plates.
Yep, top. So then he's calming top gas. Careful.
It's a 1v1 and 2. Plus 2. On our right. Solo on our right.
And then here, obviously, as it gets towards that end game, this is a top 250 lobby. Calming, making sure, saying what kind of skin they have on. Calming, say, hey, guy on the right on this heady, pinging it, he's going to be in a ghillie suit. That makes everybody's communication, everything so much better to know where you should be looking, what skin you should be looking for, and taking them out.
Last one, I think I heard him gas. I don't know. I can't tell.
Might have swam under the bridge.
Yeah, he probably. And then him calming, he might have been swimming under the bridge. We're looking for the south sky, things like that.
Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone.
Yep. Close right. Bro, Joe, you're insane, bro. You're actually insane.
Now, just like that, that is the very important tip. Number 1, everybody's got to drop the ego. Nobody's going to get better if everybody's complaining, yelling at each other, making sure that everybody can improve as a team and gain that SR and climb up those ranks by just the basic level communication to know what's going on. With tip number 2, that is going to be prioritizing loadouts. I see so many times there's a ton of teams that are fighting with ground loot for the entire game, and it hurts your team obviously throughout the game and obviously long term. Making sure that you're prioritizing loadout, and there's 3 ways to do that. You can obviously buy one in trios for $16,000, which is usually your best bet, or going to a stronghold for number 2. And then last but not least, for number 3, you could be waiting for that first zone or 5th zone free loadout drop. Now, with that being said, I'm going to run through you guys like 3 or 4 of my favorite loadouts for ranked play right now. So currently I have them set up obviously for a ghost class and a high alert class, depending on what I want to run. Usually at this point, it's pretty much ghost, because obviously with unlimited UAVs, it's pretty crazy. So right now, the Hemlock is still, I would say, one of the best ARs. I would say a top 2 at least. And this is my build for the Hemlock. Now, if you feel like you cannot shoot the Hemlock straight with no underbarrel, you can swap what seems like it's the best for me personally. You can swap high velocity for the F-Tac Ripper. But as I will show you guys right now, this Hemlock class, even with no underbarrel, is still an absolute laser beam. Then obviously, if you go here and mount up, it still shoots just the same as it always did. So I would say the Hemlock has got to be a top 1 or top 2 ARs. And I've been using the Vaznev a lot. Now, the Vaznev up close in the 10-meter range would be losing a fight to an MP5. But once you get past that 10-meter range, which I actually use the Vaznev as a sniper support, which I'll show you guys soon, it is hands down the best. Now, this is the build that I've been running pretty recently, and it's been my favorite. I'll walk you guys through these tunings real quick too. And it seems like that a strafe build is very important for me. And I've been running this strafe Vaznev for a while now. Now, I think that obviously having a gun that can obviously reload super quick and be a beam from that medium range is very important. And I obviously love the strafe speed and movement speed a lot better than the Lockman MP5. So the reason I like the Vaznev so much is obviously because the movement speed, that strafe speed is really good. And unless you're fighting somebody in that 10-meter range, it's the best sub overall compared to the MP5. Now, obviously, if you're getting super up close, the MP5 is still very good, which I'll show you guys a build. But me personally, I've been loving the Vaznev, obviously for an AR support and sniper support. So getting into my second favorite loadout, that is my sniper class. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, Joe, I haven't seen you really snipe that often. And me either, to be honest, until we got the one-shot snipers in Warzone 2. Now, because of how skilled you have to be to use snipers, I've been really using them a lot to prepare for the World Series of Warzone and obviously ranked play. The one-shot snipers are very good if you are a good marksman. And they can really help out your team when you're fighting those 1v3s and things like that, because then it has an opening pick for your team if you get a knock, and that really makes the other team panic. If they don't have self-res, they have to go res, so you're kind of in a 3v1 while they're resing, and it just causes all sorts of panic from the other teams. Obviously, too, and it gets to those late games, those 4th zones, those 5th zones, those end games, you can be picking people off, getting kills for your team, which helps out a lot in SR. Towards those later zones, you get a lot more SR per kill, and a sniper build I've been really loving. I paired it up obviously with my Vaznev, which I showed you guys, and I usually do run smokes, and I've been running some Texas but sometimes drill charges as of lately. The thing that I've been running onto the most is double time, overkill, fast hands, and ghost. If you're gonna be sniping, I would say run fast hands. If not, you can use restock and things like that to restock smokes, but I've been personally loving fast hands. For the third class, I'm going to show you guys, that is my Cronin Squall class, which I just dropped a video on it. This thing, if you're going to be getting up close, this gun is hands down the best primary if you're a very aggressive player like myself. This thing shoots insanely straight from that close to medium range, and the TTK is the fastest if you're going against the Hemlock or things like that. And this thing absolutely fries people from medium to close range. And again, I paired it up with my Vaznev, which I love the most, and some drill charges, because obviously I'm going to be up close and personal, getting into buildings, things like that, and drill charges are very important. I've been running Ghost a lot over High Alert, because in the top 250 ranked lobbies, you need to have Ghost on with the unlimited UAVs. So that's going to wrap it up for my second tip, and that is going to be prioritizing loadouts. For my third tip, that is going to be doing strongholds and black sites. So many people I see in ranked play lobbies do not do strongholds and black sites, and they are so important. Obviously, they sped up the speed of the cap timer for the flags now. So when you are going to these strongholds, going to these black sites to kill the jug, but primarily to start off with, we'll say strongholds, when you're going to these capped flags, They go much, much quicker. You get a free loadout, tempered vest, armor boxes, ammo, and a white chest from somewhere in the building or the area to then have a lot of money, streaks, etc. That is a great start for your team. If you guys don't have loadout or anything yet, you can land quickly off of a stronghold, have your loadout, have a tempered vest, which means in fights, when you put in a plate, you have 33% more plates per plate you put on, which can really change obviously a fight for how fast TTK is. So important to do that. So then you get a black site key, which then you can take to the black site. You have permanent UAVs on your own strongholds. So obviously as those zones close in on your stronghold, it is a literal free UAV, free information on unghosted players. So depending on where the black site is, you can then take your key that you got from your stronghold and go to the black site and fight the Jug. Now there's obviously a couple ways to fight the Jug. You can try to get him outside, run him over with a car, all that, but usually we just try to shoot him to get obviously all the things he's gonna drop and all of the goodies that are inside the black site building. You're gonna obviously have the permanent UAV, which if it's in a good zone is insane for those endgame fights. You have unlimited information again on unghosted players, and those black sites are a really good place to hold down, bunker down with your team and get a lot of kills as zone closes. The great thing too is those drop a ton of money, self-reses, streaks, all of that kind of stuff. So if you guys need to regain, you can always go back to your black site and get the loadout from there, assuming that you already have it from the previous stronghold, which you should, which means you have a unlimited UAV, and you can come back again and grab your loadout with a unlimited UAV from a black site. And as those zones go smaller and smaller, there's times where you could have the black site for pretty much the entire game, even up to the last zone. So for every map at 3 minutes and 29 seconds on the first zone closing, that's when strongholds open. Now you have to make sure to get to those very quickly, because a lot of teams will be fighting for that, then obviously fighting for the black site. Because once you do the stronghold, you can get the black site key and then go to the black site, which obviously everybody that does the stronghold will most likely be pushing for the black site if it's good in zone and if it's in a good area. So make sure to get to those quickly. So a tip that a lot of people I don't think know is you can actually go to a stronghold which is already been completed and get a loadout from it by killing 5 bots that are going to spawn in. Now this is dangerous, of course, because if you're going there, most likely you don't have a loadout because you're searching for one, which means you're probably unghosted. So you can see obviously on the map where all of the strongholds were completed at, and you can actually land there even though it's been completed and fight 5 bots and get your loadout. The downside of that is obviously whoever completed it before you has a permanent UAV, and if you're going for your loadout, probably don't have ghost on. So that is tip number 3, prioritizing strongholds and black sites. Moving on to tip number 4, that is going to be rotations. So the way that SR is set up currently, you get points for kills, which is obviously very important. But once you're in those 50 to 21 squads remaining, kills don't matter that much. Now, if you're fighting off the rip and stuff, that's perfectly fine, but if you are full sending, risking obviously going to gulag, or if your team doesn't have gulag to try to get as many points as possible, that isn't going to work in the higher ranks. I promise you that. Once you get to those Crimson, Iridescent, top 250, you have to prioritize rotations, which you will still get a ton of points later for. Making sure that you are getting in zone or where you think zone will be pulling to is crucial to hold out a lot of players. As you can see in the bottom right here, once you get to that 20 to 4 squads left, you get 7 points or 3 points per assist or from your teammates in SR, which means that later game, once there's 20 to 4 teams left, you are getting so many points per kill. Even if your teammates kills them too, you were getting so many points for that and assist. Once it is that 3rd to 1st zone, kills matter so much, and if you could get a couple extra kills during that 3 to 1 teams left in general, you can get so many points for that. So making sure that you are prioritizing your rotations are so important. And again, like I say, obviously having those kills early game is very important, but again, those late game fights are going to be so crucial for your SR, which is going to really help you climb that ladder, rank up, and go up that leaderboard. Is making sure that your team is rotating as a team, keeping everybody alive and getting those kills later in the game. You'll have so many times when zone is closing in, you'll have free holds on team that have to cross in front of you. Obviously smokes can help, but there's times where people are fighting on the edge of zone and you can just get free picks as people are closing in. It's the best way to rank up. Last but not least, it is going to be tip number 5, prioritizing the little things. Making sure that you are prioritizing those little things things in the game is crucial for ranked. If your teammates are calling out asking for plates, make sure that you're giving them plates. That's going to help you guys out in a fight. You don't want them going down because you didn't give them a couple plates in your spare time. Making sure that your teammates have ammo, that you have ammo, that you have plates. Storing smoke, storing semtexes. If you have extra inventory, call that out for your teammates so they can drop you certain things. Obviously, having more smokes, more nades, more tacticals, lethals, that's going to be very, very important. Another thing I see all the time too is if you kill somebody, they aren't grabbing portable buy stations. And once you get to those zones 3, zones 4, zones 5, most likely there's going to be 1 or maybe 2 buy stations in, but they're going to be heavily contested as everybody's trying to res. If you grab those portable buy stations, holding them as long as you can, so if one of your teammates go down or you go down, you can be resed, is so important. Throughout the match, obviously too, you're going to be collecting a ton of money as a team, and making sure that you split that money up for everybody is going to be important too. There's so many times where there's one person holding on to like $16,000 and their teammates have like 1,000 or like 2,000, and if they go down and they get full killed, you guys don't have enough to revive them, which means you're going to be in a 2v3 for most likely the rest of the match. You need to communicate. If you have that money, communicate to your teammates, hey, I'm dropping you money for revives too, so if you go down, it's not the end of the world. They can get you back and it's not too much of a hassle. With that portable buy station too, you guys can have obviously precisions, UAVs, self-reses, things like that for late game, where if you were trying to contest a buy, you guys could get wiped and the game could be over. Now that is going to wrap up the top 5 tips for ranked player Warzone. If you guys want to know anything else, obviously ask me down below. I love to read and respond to your guys' comments. But if you guys love this kind of video, make sure that you guys are subscribed down below, and I'll be doing a ton of videos like this for ranked play throughout season 4, season 5, however long, coming with the best loadouts, the best strats, all of that for you guys. Happy climbing, rank up, and hopefully, or maybe not hopefully, I'll see you guys in some lobbies. Peace.